Welcome to MeteoFoco, where we look deep into the Earth to expose the planet's most extreme and terrifying forces. Our focus today is on Italy, a nation renowned for its vibrant history, culture, and cuisine. Yet beneath the sunlit historic streets of Naples and under the calm blue waters of the Bay of Pozzuoli lies a truth few know. This Italian metropolis was literally built atop one of the most dangerous supervolcanoes on the planet. Just a few miles from the city center is an area known as the Flegrei Fields, or Campi Flegrei in Italian, which chillingly translates to burning fields. This name is no accident. The ancient Romans, having observed steam rising from the ground, bubbling thermal springs, and the overpowering smell of sulfur, believed this place was the entrance to the underworld, the gate of hell itself. Beneath the sunlit streets of Naples and under the calm blue waters of the Bay of Pozzuoli, something terrifying is stirring. Naples is a vibrant city full of history and culture, but few know that this Italian metropolis was literally built on top of one of the most dangerous supervolcanoes on the planet. For centuries, this place has looked ordinary. Just a few miles from the city's historic center is an entire volatile region known as the Flegrei Fields. The Italian name, Campi Flegrei, literally means burning fields. This name was not given by chance. Since ancient times, the Romans had already observed steam rising from the ground, bubbling thermal springs, and the strong smell of sulfur. For them, that place was considered the entrance to the underworld, the gate of hell mentioned in ancient legends. The geological history of the Flegrei Fields is absolutely terrifying. This isn't a single mountain like Vesuvius looming in the distance. Campi Flegrei is far more deceptive. On the surface, it looks like a patchwork of towns, lakes, and rolling hills. But underground, it's a hidden monster. We are talking about a gigantic caldera, approximately 13 kilometers, 8 miles, in diameter. About 39,000 years ago, this supervolcano was the protagonist of one of the most catastrophic eruptions that Earth has ever witnessed. Scientists estimate that explosion was so violent that it launched enough volcanic material to cover an area equivalent to all of Spain's territory with a layer of ash. The eruption was so massive, it may have helped wipe out entire populations of early humans across Europe. The sky over Europe darkened for months. Temperatures plummeted drastically, and archaeological evidence suggests this event may have contributed to the extinction of entire populations of Neanderthals. The story doesn't end there. Approximately 15,000 years ago, the Flegrei Fields roared again with devastating force. This great eruption completely reshaped the geography of the Bay of Naples, creating craters that are now lakes and modifying the coastline. The last recorded eruption occurred in 1538, when a new mountain called Monte Nuovo emerged. But today the situation is radically different. More than 3 million people live directly above this restless giant. In the last 2 decades, and especially in the last 2 years, the Flegrei Fields have begun to give disturbing signs that something is changing in the depths. More than 3,000 earthquakes have rattled the region in a single recent year. Researchers now estimate over 50,000 distinct microquakes occurred between 2022 and mid-2025 alone. The majority of this activity is occurring at very shallow depths, just 3 to 4 kilometers below the surface. This means the seismic activity is happening right there, practically underneath the streets, houses, and buildings where millions of people live. This isn't just random shaking. It's the Earth's way of saying pressure is building. The intensity is escalating. On June 30th, 2025, an earthquake of magnitude 4.6 on the Richter scale shook the region. This became the strongest tremor ever registered in the area since modern monitoring began. This event shattered windows, cracked walls of old buildings, and forced schools to be evacuated temporarily. Thousands of residents ran to the streets in panic. The phenomenon called bredichism, which is the slow rising and sinking of the ground, is occurring in an accelerated manner. The ground has risen by approximately 1.4 meters, over 4.5 feet, in some areas since 2005. It's as if the ground is being pushed upward by something gigantic that is expanding in the depths. That something is a combination of moving magma and volcanic gases under increasing pressure. Imagine a pressure cooker on the stove with a blocked valve. Volcanic gases are escaping through cracks in the Earth's crust in volumes that have not been observed for decades. Scientific sensors are recording carbon dioxide emissions in the order of 4,000 to 5,000 tons per day in the Solfatara zone. This is one of the largest volcanic gas flows recorded anywhere on the planet. Along with carbon dioxide, increasing amounts of sulfur dioxide and other gases that are typical when magma is rising toward the surface are also being detected. For volcanologists, these gases are like chemical signals indicating that the magmatic system is active and possibly reorganizing. The crucial point that keeps volcanologists around the world awake at night is that this supervolcano is not extinct. It was just sleeping, and now it is beginning to awaken. Scientists now say the crust has been so weakened by centuries of pressure that it could take less force than ever before to crack it open. Some researchers describe the current situation as a boiling pot with a thinning lid. Subsurface imaging studies reveal the existence of a large hidden fracture or cavity in the depths of the caldera. This crack appears to connect deep magma zones with superficial faults. In other words, it may function as a type of stress conduit that allows pressure to propagate unexpectedly through the system. One volcanologist compared the current situation to walking on thin ice. You may not realize it's breaking until it's already too late. The possibility of an eruption is no longer a question of if, but truly of when. So what would really happen if the Phlegrean fields erupted? Scenario A, the small eruption. A small-scale eruption similar to the event of 1538 would already be enough to cause significant destruction. Naples would be covered by a thick layer of volcanic ash that would completely paralyze the city. Airports would close immediately, roads would become impassable, and electrical systems would collapse. Hundreds of thousands of people would need to be evacuated within hours. Scenario B, the cataclysmic super-eruption. Scientists warn that there is the possibility of something much, much worse. In the most extreme case, a super-eruption could expel more than 1,000 cubic km of volcanic material into the atmosphere. This volume would be more than 100 times the material that Mount Vesuvius launched in the year 79 AD when it destroyed Pompeii. An eruption of this magnitude would not only devastate Italy. Clouds of volcanic ash would spread throughout Europe, paralyzing air traffic for weeks or even months. The most terrifying effect is the threat of volcanic winter. When a supervolcano erupts, billions of tons of sulfur dioxide are launched into the stratosphere. This gas forms tiny droplets of sulfuric acid that remain suspended in the upper atmosphere, forming a kind of veil around the planet. This veil reflects sunlight back into space, drastically reducing the amount of energy that reaches the Earth's surface. The consequences would be mass famine and global chaos. Global temperatures can drop several degrees C. The growing seasons of agricultural crops are shortened, harvests fail en masse, and food production plummets on all continents. History proves this. In 1815, the eruption of Mount Tambora in Indonesia caused what became known as the year without a summer. Crops failed, famine spread across continents, and millions of people suffered the consequences. The Italian government has invested considerable resources in monitoring systems. Thousands of seismic sensors have been installed, and satellites in orbit measure with millimeter precision any elevation or sinking of the ground. Civil protection authorities have developed detailed evacuation plans to relocate up to 500,000 people from the highest risk zones if necessary. But planning for a disaster of this scale is almost impossible. In a city of 3 million, even a single day of warning could spark gridlock, panic, and chaos. Roads would jam, shelters would overflow, and misinformation would spread faster than officials could contain it. The real risk, some experts argue, isn't just the eruption itself, it's human response. No rain, no sensor, no satellite, no drill can tell us with certainty when or how it will erupt. The system is primed, the lid is thin, and the signals are undeniable. Campi Flegrei may not be done reminding us that Earth, not humanity, is in control.